When am I supposed to start?
In a bit. Let me just adjust this. Good. Alright, so Calvin, I'm going to have you tell me the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Tell it to me as you know it, without any prompts, just however you want to tell it, that's how you're going to tell it to me, okay? So, 3, 2, and anytime you're ready. Go.
Okay. So, once upon a time, there's a little girl with a big red cape and curly golden hair, and they called her Goldilocks. And then she lived with
Calvin.
3 bears. And
Calvin, this is
Mama
not the
Bear
story
said, you have to go
Calvin.
visit Grandma Bear. She doesn't have any porridge.
Calvin.
So I want you to go climb the beanstalk and go visit your grandmother
Calvin.
who is way up in the heavens and make sure that she gets this porridge.
Calvin.
And put it in this basket.
Calvin!
Huh?
I need you to focus. I need you to tell the story of Little Red Riding Hood, as you know it. Don't veer off into anything else. Just the Little Red Riding Hood story.
But I am telling the story of Little Red Riding Hood.
But Calvin, you're going off into all these other stories. I need you to just tell me the Little Red Riding Hood story.
Well, I think you said you told me to make it up. I'm making it up right now. Well, maybe it's because your camera's making me feel funny. It's like, I don't normally talk to cameras, I talk to children. Children are much easier. You can tell them anything and give them candy afterwards.
Well, just pretend that this camera is in front of a bunch of children, and so you're telling this story to a bunch of children, and not to a camera.
Can I go back to, the Little Red Riding Hood with the red cape? We know she has a red cape, right? Yes. So.
Over. This is why she is called Little Red Riding Hood, so go right ahead.
Okay, so once upon a time there's a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood, and she has curly golden hair, and her nickname is Goldilocks. But for this particular story, we're going to call her Little Red Riding Hood, otherwise someone will yell at me. So, she is going to her grandmother's house up in the sky, and 3 bears, whose last name is Bear, have told her to go visit her grandmother because she's very sick. So bring her this porridge in this basket and go to the forest where the beanstalk is. Okay, so she goes to the forest and she meets a wolf while she's climbing the beanstalk. And the wolf says, "Oh, little pig, let me come in." And she goes, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And he says, "Well, you know, you've been gaining some weight, girl. That's why you can't climb this beanstalk and visit your grandma." "How do you know that I'm visiting grandma?" "Well, I'm psychic. I'm a psychic wolf." And then so, while she's climbing the beanstalk with her basket that's full of porridge, and she meets the little wolf, well, it's a rather big wolf, otherwise it would be a big bad wolf. She says that she can't be delayed, and then the wolf says, "Well, I have a better way to get to Grandma's house, and you don't even have to climb a beanstalk at all." And she goes, "That would make much more sense. This basket's really, really heavy." Finds out that the Grandma's house is not even in the clouds at all. It's like the far side of the strip mall. So the wolf gave Little Red Riding Hood with curly golden hair directions. "How do I get there?" "Well, you can take a car." "Well, I don't have a car." "Well, you can take a bus." And then she gets to Grandma's house, only to find that Grandma's house is actually this really small apartment. So, Grandma is inside, and Little Red Riding Hood knocks at the door, and she goes, little pig, let me come in." And she goes, "Honey, I'm not a pig." So, she goes on in, and she sees a woman, very, very old woman, all covered up, but her voice is very, very deep. Then she says, oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have." And because she, it looks like she has very big eyes, and she goes, "Oh, that's my glasses. The prescription is really, really bad. I'd blind as a bat if I didn't have my glasses. And I can tell that, you have porridge in there. It's very wonderful that you brought it." And she said, "Well, wow, you have an amazing sense of smell. Before you couldn't smell anything at all. You just had this horrible, horrible cold." And I just wow, your nose is really big. And she goes, well, it's just better to smell all that stuff that's in the basket. You know, like the porridge and, you know, hopefully there's any other goodies. No, Mama Bear just made porridge.
Calvin, try not to say you know so much, because it's a little distracting.
Oh, okay. And then, as she looks even closer, she goes, my grandma, what big teeth you have. And she goes, the better to eat you with, my dear. At which point she goes, really? You're going to eat me? You're not going to eat this porridge that Mama Bear made for you? Well, I was supposed to go to your house. I was supposed to climb the beanstalk. He called me a pig and he told me to ride the bus. So I rode the bus because I hated having my feelings hurt. And then I come here and you don't want the porridge. And how dare you? It's not fair. And then the wolf, well, after he calms her down, she stops, sobbing. He eats her, and then that's the end. And the moral of, and that's the end.
Okay, so Calvin, what's the moral of the story, as far as you know? As far as you, what's the moral of the story?
Don't climb beanstalks to go to your grandmother's house because you will find big wolves that will insult your weight.
Calvin, how did you come up with that moral?
I read this in a book once.
You read this in a book? What book?
I don't remember. I read lots of books. Are we done now? I'm getting hungry for some ice cream.
Well, about ice cream.
You see, if she had brought ice cream instead of porridge, we wouldn't have this problem. Well, the wolf would have just eaten the ice cream. But no, Little Red Riding Hood resembles a pig, and pig resembles bacon, and bacon is more appetizing than ice cream, unless you have bacon ice cream.
Bacon ice cream.
Well then, I hope you were able to use this, and if not, I can't tell this again. No. I have to. I want ice cream.
Actually, Calvin, I was about to tell you that we're out of ice cream at the moment.
You don't have ice cream!
Cut!